Hi, David Etienne coming to you on what is a very wet afternoon in my neck of the woods. Very, very wet and cold, but here I am. Anyhow, I'm just stopping by to say thank you to you guys who joined me on last Thursday, 29th of February, when we arrived at that date of announcing my podcast, Crossroads. So I thank you guys for joining me then. And I see that a number of persons had access the recording, the video, subsequent to the live airing, back on Thursday. So I thank you very much for touching base. And of course, having announced and launched, the excitement continues. And so I'm here to bring you up to speed that our first podcast is slated for Thursday, March 14th at 7 p.m. Okay, that's the first podcast, Thursday, March 14th at 7 p.m. I thought I would start it off on what I describe as a macro level. So that is what is going to happen on that first afternoon. And I'm going to give you a little insight as to what we're going to be looking at, what to expect. But I again want to reemphasize that I'm very happy that you guys were able to join me then. And I'm really looking forward to interacting, to engaging with you in the months to come. Thursday, March 14th at 7 p.m., the first area that we're going to be looking at is what I briefly mentioned on Thursday, which is business life cycle. Business life cycle. So in trying to set the framework of our discussions, we just want to make take a bird's eye view of the overall life cycle of a typical business. And so we'll be going into a lot of details, looking at the stages and phases from birth to, let me say, re-engineering or death. Yes, as simple as that. So we'll be looking at the seed phase of the cycle, which is germination. We're going to be looking at the startup phase, the established phase, the growth phase, the expansion phase, the mature phase. And of course, there comes a time when we have to reinvent ourselves, re-engineer, or if that is not possible, it may then be the time to consider exit. So we look at the total business life cycle from the seed phase through the different phases and stages of the cycle. Why are we doing this? Every stage and every phase tend to have some unique challenges attached to it or them. All right? Not saying that certain challenges are specifically only related to a phase one or phase two or phase three. But the reality is, you will find that if you are in the growth phase of your business, the kind of challenges that you're likely to face may be not quite similar to what you would face when you actually are at the mature phase, or maybe even at the early startup phase. So there are certain questions that we want to start to dive into. First, are you able to identify exactly where in the business life cycle you are, that your business is at? Are you able to identify? Are you at that startup phase? Are you growing? Are you an established business? Are you now poised for expansion? Would you consider your business to be a mature business? Or is it time for you to reconsider your business strategy, to re-engineer your processes, or to contemplate that maybe it's time to exit and move on to something else? Okay, so that's a question. Are you able to say clearly, yes, my business is at this particular phase? Another possible question that you could ask is, depending on what phase or stage you're at, can you clearly articulate two significant challenges that are most likely to surface at that particular phase? Are you able to do that? Or another question would be, Is your business currently growing? Has it plateaued? Or is it in a decline? That is something that you need to be very clear about. And one more question that could come to mind is, when you make your decisions and you take actions, are those decisions and actions based on what I refer to as strategic, pre-planned positions? Or are you just reacting to business challenges as they arise? Almost like of course, a reactionary mode where, okay, this is happening, what should I do about it? Or are you moving, acting, deciding based on pre-planned strategic decisions? All these things we need to be looking at. And sometimes you'd ask a person, what's your business model? What is your business model? And for a while, they're like stupefied. What's your business model? You have to have a clear understanding and a clear vision as to what's your business model. Yes, the intention is that I'm going into business to make money, make a profit, and live well. Yeah. So the intention is to generate income, make a profit, and have a successful business. But are you clear on the path? Are you clear on the trajectory, so to speak, of how you're going to take yourself from point A to point B? What is the model? Okay, what is the mode of operation? How are you structuring that journey to ensure that you get to where you're trying to go? So those are some of the questions that we would wish to speak to, explore, come up with some answers to, or at least some clearer understanding. So Thursday, March 14th at 7 p.m. is when we have our first podcast. And again, the topic is just looking in general terms at business life cycle. It would be very, very helpful and interesting if, having heard these questions, and I think I'll post them online as teasing questions during the course of this week leading up to that time. But if you care, and it would really be welcome, if you care to shoot me a text, an email, a response to say, okay, this is my position based on my business model. This is my position based on where I think I am in my business life cycle, etc., etc. So once I receive those feedback from you, then I will incorporate them into our March 14th discussion. So that's about it for now. But I also remind you, remember, check out our website, okay, Etienne Strategic Management website, and it is clearly www.etiennestrategicmc.com. Check out our website and ensure that you subscribe. And naturally, we can be found on all the various social media platforms. So check us out and see exactly what is happening. Be kept informed, and looking forward to being with you, to sharing with you on March 14th. That's Thursday, March 14th at 7 p.m. when we have our first podcast, Crossroads, Navigating Business Challenges, with me, your host, David Etienne. All right, bye for now. Looking forward to seeing you then.